Hey everybody, I just want to revisit this stone. I did some shaves last night, or well actually this morning. The Johan Engström redid as suggested by Bundubeard, suggesting using a slurry. And I started out with, what is it, the 1200 Atoma plate. Redid that. Got the slurry from the stone. It bit in like right away. You could feel it really biting into that edge. Then I polished it off with a dark gray Thringen. As you can see, it's fairly slick. There's good shine on it still. So with this one, I brought it back, but it was a little bit too harsh. I brought the edge up, and it was pretty sharp, but it was pretty uncomfortable afterwards. It took me a couple days to have that harshness go away. So today, when I shaved with this, edges cut beautifully. So pushing it, you can push it a little too far, like Devin was talking about. It's part of learning the stone and your razor and what you can get away with, and that's what you're doing, is you're testing these out. So I was just going to do a little honing session with this CV Halogy strand. It's unmarked, but I'm guessing, no, I don't know, the 31s had that little thumb notch, so I'm not sure which model that would be, but it would be around, it's about that shape. And so this thing's got fairly bit, and what this does, this softens the edge a little bit with the Thringen a little bit more. It adds more striations, of course. More gives you a little bit of like you would find with the J-Nat, you know, the matte finish kind of style, where it's, instead of strong striations, it's kind of looks like little shards, sandblasted. I guess that's the word you would use, sandblasted. So you won't see too heavy of a slurry on here, but it's just enough to condition the stone's surface and add a little bit of texture. So with this, you don't feel any grabbing. It feels fairly slick, even though it's got the a little bit of slurry on there. And what I do is I am working specific areas of the blade to the outside and using basically where my left hand is under the pressure under there, and I'm twisting the blade a little bit, putting a little bit of pressure. I just can't think of what the word is. And so it pulls that edge down into it. Not too strong, but a little bit of pressure to get that blade cutting in there. And then what I'm looking for is a continuous, even feeling along the bevel. Right now I'm feeling spots where it grabs and other spots where it's skipping over. And usually when it feels like it's sliding or slipping right over, it means it's actually missing that spot. And if you're using the corner or the edge of your stone, you're able to kind of finagle that in there, kind of force it to hit those spots. This has somewhat of a disadvantage of a flat plane when you're cutting something that's already got a curve in it and is actually not perfectly straight. It's close enough, but that's the disadvantage of using flat stones. With curve, the convex bevels, you're actually hitting on those specific spots where you're working it. and you're actually getting more of it. There's also disadvantages of it. Sometimes you can thin out the bevel a little bit too much, but I've only done that when I'm adjusting the proportions of the razor. See, it's starting to bite a little bit more, so a little bit tooth in there, especially on this toe. And that spray is a mix of dish detergent, smart home stuff, whatever, so it doesn't rust. It's anti-rust stuff you get from Japan. Home Ride, I think it's called. It's one of them. So I haven't had any issues with using it on my skin. I don't get any reactions to it. So far that I've noticed. And my skin's pretty sensitive. And I like to change the striations up a little bit. You cross hatch the striations. And then you start back over again. Do it again. And to me that helps. The bevel getting consistent. Feel that toe is not feeling right. I didn't reset the bevel because I've already got the bevel set. I just wanted to ease it down a little bit so it's a little bit more comfortable. And this is a fairly dense one, so it's a little bit different. But it goes in not as easy as I like it, with barely any pressure. So this toe needs work. And this time I don't have crap on my shirt. I was putting some apple pie stuff that we made away and I didn't even realize I got it on me. Which is fine, that shirt had paint stains on it anyway, so. And also I wanted to go back on that last video I had not mentioned in there, but the pictures I showed, or the video I showed of the zoomed in with the loop, that was after the test shave. That's how the edges looked after I shaved with them. That wasn't before. So what I'm going to do this time is that Johan Engstrom, I'm going to do a close-up of that. I shaved with that earlier today. And then we'll do this one, but this one won't have been shaven with. And then with the palm stropping, you can get an idea on how, especially after you get that moisture off there, how the bevel is feeling. It'll kind of, you can feel your, not fingerprints, but the tread on your hands. You can feel it kind of grab on some spots and not on others. Ideally, this is a tell sign of, if you're feeling grabbing from the heel to the toe, you have a consistent edge generally. So that's one way of getting the feedback. And then two, you can cut easily on the corner, but if you're trying to do like the broad length of it, if it's not set right, it won't push in that easy. You'll have difficulty, but that's going in pretty easy. It's just not as smooth as I prefer it. So I'm going to add a little bit more slurry on this to give a little bit more bite. And right now the sensation is really smooth. I had a little bit of bite there, so I go through that and make sure it's... So I want a little bit of resistance going through it. I don't want to just completely buttery smooth, and I'm starting to do that right now. You're going to feel those, that slurry from the Thuringen kicking in a little bit, giving a little bit more bite. Because like I said before, it has like a little bit of a soapstone texture to it in some ways. It's not, no way in that soft, but I mean it's got like that soapy feel with it without having the soap on. I've done it with water to try it out and whatnot, but it still has that smooth cutting sensation. It's not like the Thuringen, and it's not like, definitely not like a conical, but it does have an edge to it, where it starts, so you can really feel it bite in similar ways of a fine black. Arkansas stone. And then once I stop feeling like points, like if you feel like a toothiness in it, once I stop feeling that, I back off my pressure, trying to make it a continuous sensation all the way across. Because sometimes you do, I don't know, I tend to be a little heavy-handed, and so you miss what the stone is telling you, what the vibrations in the steel. And so if you're pushing too hard, sometimes you miss that, but once you get in the rhythm of it, you start to pick those things up. So that's starting to feel pretty good. So I'm going to go and rinse the stone off, get that slurry off, and then we'll add a little bit of dish soap detergent to it. So this is with the Dawn dish soap is what I use. I'm sure there's other ones that are concentrated with the that solution. It's not very thin, it's pretty thick stuff. And what it does is it helps break that surface tension.